Just let Mildred do the talking if she...
Well, I don't know as much as...
Well, Maurine, we want to spend some time with you, too.
How you doing?
Come in. That's my older sister.
Oh, terrific.
That's Miss Watley. Maddie Watley.
Are we in luck?
And she worked at the plants in Union, LaGrange, and Grantville.
Oh, great. How you doing? My name's Judy Helfand.
My name's
George.
Maddie Watley.
I'm George. Why don't you sit here and I'll sit here?
No,
Uh,
I'll
you,
sit.
no, you sit right
No,
there.
wait here.
Sit
Wait,
there.
why do you sit
We got plenty of chairs.
I'll sit right over here.
Oh, well, that...
Sit right here. They want to talk with you too,
Sure.
Well,
because she's worked longer than we have.
Yeah.
You know, we could put this right here, right in the
Sure,
middle,
that's
okay?
right, yeah. What we're doing is that we're making a film about the early 30s and the textiles.
well, come over here. I can't see on account of something of the overhead. I
Yeah.
can't even see your face.
Oh, I know
Don't
it.
pull the ball, pull that other.
Oh, do you,
Oh.
I'm gonna put
You
this
turn
chair
the
right in
fan
middle.
off,
Is that
Maudine.
Okay, then you'll sit right there.
I said, you turn the fan off.
No, I turned the light off.
You turn the fan too. Oh, maybe you
Oh,
didn't.
the fan's going.
Yeah, this is going to work out fine.
That's where I sit a lot of
I
times.
know, I like the firmness
I
of
do
it.
too. When you work with children, you have to get down with them.
I know. How do you people stay so healthy?
What?
How do you stay so healthy?
I guess it's just working with them, and I'm
I
just,
bet that makes a big
I'm
difference.
just. It makes a lot of difference how
Yeah.
you get about, I guess, and
Yeah.
stay.
They've already visited Roy Calhoun, so
They
he told them
have.
lots of things.
As I say, we left
I
with
got up early this morning, didn't
we
No.
left with the big
That was
tomatoes.
yesterday.
Oh,
tomatoes last night. Well, what we're doing is we're making this film about the early 30s, and you people worked in the mills, and so I think first, Judy, if they could just tell us their names and when they first started working in the mills. All right, could you just, your name is?
my name's Maddie.
Maddie?
Watley,
I was a Rainwater. when
and
I
she married a
went
Watley.
to work in the mill.
And when did you start working in the mills?
Well, I went to work when I was 15, I think. And I'm 84 now, so you can
Right,
subtract that.
And what did you do?
I run winders.
How much did you get paid?
I believe we got like something like
$11.55, wasn't it?
$6.55.
$6 and
55 cents.
yeah.
Might have been when y'all-
I remember
Mama
those
took the
figures.
$6 and let us have the change.
Well, just that's the kind of details we want. And what did you do? You
Run
winded.
winders.
Could you tell us, how did you feel about working that early?
Well, I thought that was the only job that it was to do.
How much education had you had?
6th grade.
And did you want to go on?
Well, not really. I thought if I went to work, I'd be okay.
And what about you, ma'am? Your name is?
Maudine Couch. I was a Rainwater. You want the
Yes.
Rainwater or
Yes,
Couch?
that's fine.
Rainwater. I was Maudine Rainwater.
And when did you start working in the mills?
Well, I guess I was about 16 years
Mhm.
old.
And you're how old now?
I'll be 80 in October.
Uh-huh. So it was before, 4 years after she did.
Yeah.
And what did you do?
I worked in the card room. I
Ah.
run fly frames in the card room.
That was a harder job, wasn't it?
Well, those days it wasn't so hard.
Uh-huh.
We'd have to krill, in the yarn, krill it in, and it would run, I guess, about 6 hours. And we'd doff about every 2 hours. After it'd run on the bobbin, we'd have to doff it off.
Now, this is a point which I think it's hard for people to explain, that you were working in the mill then long hours. How long was your day?
11.
We worked
11 hours.
a day, wasn't it?
11
Well,
hours
I
a day.
worked 8 hours because I took music and I went to Raymond on the train twice a week. It'd go in the afternoons, and I'd have to go on the train and come back, and so I just worked short hours till I,
We
for a
worked
long
from
time.
6 till 6.
Till I learned to play Jesus Lover, and so then I quit.
Jesus, lover of my soul. Let me to thy bosom fly, right?
That's right.
How's the next verse go? Jesus, lover of my soul, let me
Well,
to thy bosom fly.
I started to say, how many chickens have I stole?
That's a parody on it, you see.
Used to they'd say things like that.
That's a child's parody on this. Now, but when did it get harder to work in the mills?
Well, it was real hard then, and they had to be saving with the toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
And my boss man come around and told us, don't waste the toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
So, girlfriend of mine and I went out and got some cobs out in the pasture there at home. We didn't want Mom and Daddy to know it, but we carried some cobs in there and tied a string around them.
Yeah.
And we said, are you taping that?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Goodness.
That's a great story.
So we tied a string around the cob and put a little note up behind the toilet stool to please use a cob and save your job. And so he said if he ever found out who did that, he'd fire him. And we were scared to death. We knowed our mom and daddy'd beat us good. Slip around, do things like that.
Now, when did it get harder in the mills? When you say you didn't have to work too hard at that time?
In the for Union mills,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't too bad, but when Mount Vernon changed over, well, it get a little bit rougher.
Mhm.
And then West Point taken over, and it was a little bit rougher there.
Mhm.
And I retired, working
Mhm.
from West Point. I retired in '75.
Now, some people have talked to us about the stretch out when they started speeding up the machinery. Do you remember that, when that happened?
That's whenever Mount Vernon and West Point
Mhm.
started stretching it out.
Mm-hmm. And describe the difference in the work from one time to another.
Well, I think West Point is a little bit, got a little bit faster and a little bit, the yarn was coarser, they made yarn for carpet.
Mhm.
And so it was a little bit rougher there for us. You stayed busy.
Now, some people have told us that when they first started working in the mills, they worked long hours, but they could take time off to talk and play and so forth.
Yeah. Well, when we worked for Union Mills, we'd get our job started and we'd go sit down on a box, and just watch it run. And, at the end, we made sewing thread then for Union Mills. And then Mount Vernon, they started making yarn for carpet and cloth. We made this different kind of yarn. And so then they went over to West Point and they made yarn for carpet, so it got a little bit rougher. But they were a good company to work for. They were real good to you. But they wanted you to stay on your job.
What about you? When did you start working in the mills?
I guess I was 16.
Your name, just name.
My what?
Your name.
Mildred Pate
Okay.
now.
And you were 16, huh?
Yeah.
And where was that?
Alex was, I worked for Union Cotton Mill Company.
What did you do?
I operated the winders just like my sister there did. She taught me how to work. And I worked 11 hours a day. and we worked 60 hours a week. And then Saturday at 11 o'clock we got off, and we got we called it a ticket, you know, the money, cash money was in an envelope, and I made $6.55 to work that, you know, long.
Your hours and wages change.
Well, after the war, I believe, what year was that? Didn't it change then, Maddie? After the war was on, they
We
paid
went on
higher
8 hours
wages.
a day, is that what you mean?
Yes,
They
that's
went
right.
on 8
Uh-huh.
hours.
Yes.
Well, I don't remember the year, but I remember when it happened.
Uh-huh.
But
Was it after Roosevelt came in?
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
I think he was the one
He's
that
the one
wanted
that
it.
did that,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Can you just remember the difference in the pay and hours?
Oh yeah, you could. You know, you enjoyed that to get off early, and you just worked 8 hours a day.
Well, one of the things we can't figure out is that the hours were reduced from 11 or 11 hours to 8 hours. But you didn't get a lunch break then, did you?
No,
So
we
you
had to carry our lunch.
we had an hour to start with, you know, for lunch, but we didn't, just had, you know, we could eat on the run, you know, on the job, you know, but we didn't have any time to go sit down and eat, you know.
that's when you were working 8 hours.
That's right.
Okay, that's what we want to get. Yeah.
That's right.
That's Judy. That's clear then. Yeah. We're just talking about when the switch from 11 hours, to 8 hours, and the difference that made. Do you remember that?
Well, I don't remember what year, but
It was 1933.
President
30,
Roosevelt, he
yeah.
made that change, you
Mhm.
know. He put us on 8 hours,
Mhm.
and which that was great for us.
Yeah.
It was real good.
Yeah.
So,
So you'd rather work 11 hours 8 hours and work hard than to work 11 hours and not work so hard.
well, no, I didn't mind working those hours
Mhm.
because it wasn't too hard, but
Mhm.
we were glad to get shorter hours too.
Yeah.
And so the work was a little bit harder,
Mhm.
but you could make it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing that we're trying to figure out is with shorter hours and better pay, then there was this big strike that came along. We're trying to figure out why that happened. In 34, there was a big strike.
Well, they struck for higher wages,
Mhm.
didn't they? Because I was married then and went to LaGrange to live. And I got my first job.
Mhm.
They was on a strike down there, and so I go in and get the job.
Mhm. I say, when you got your job because they were on strike.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Which mill was that?
In LaGrange, spinning mill,
Spinning.
belonged to Callaway.
That's right, Callaway Mills. Yeah. And you worked there how long?
40 years
Wow. And you got in there just during the strike.
in time.
Uh-huh. And do you have any idea, do you remember the strike here?
Yes, I remember it.
Uh-huh.
I remember a lot of people was around the gate over there. We, had to be at the gate 5 minutes before time to open it up.
Mhm.
And so we had to be at the gate. And so this truck came, and a lot of people was on this truck, and they had sticks and just different things, begging people not to go in. But we went on in and worked.
Mhm.
But there wasn't any damage done that I remember. But I think they locked a lot of those people up, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they did.
I think they did. The best that I remember, I think they locked them up, you know, and put them in, some of them in jail.
We have pictures of that, which we can show you in just a few minutes. But where did those people come from?
Around Hogansville, and some of them around Una.
Did you know any of them?
No, I didn't know any of them.
There's one man, Mr. Zimmerman, he was from Hogansville.
Well,
He was on that truck.
well, probably so.
Zimmerman.
Zimmerman.
Uh-huh.
He had a daughter named Etta May.
Etta Mae Zimmerman.
Do you know her?
Yes.
Is she still alive?
Yes.
She is. She's in that movie, I think.
Yeah.
Etta Mae Zimmerman.
Well, now, we'll
And
run it
Low
as soon as
Velma?
your grandson gets, is it your son or your grandson?
It's his grandson.
Grandson. As soon as he comes in, and we'll put the machine on, maybe you'll recognize her.
Okay, I know we will.
Can
we
we?
know
Yeah,
them
she's
just
still-
like we
she
know
lives in
one
Hogansville.
another almost.
The
Oh, that's
Because
good.
we
girls
grew
do.
up together.
Hogansville's not far from here, is it?
It's 12 miles.
Why don't you get the address?
Yeah. Do you think you can put us in touch with Etta May?
Get in touch with
Yeah.
Etta
Can you
Mae?
give me her address and maybe I could give her a call?
Well,
Would you
it's
know?
International Street, I believe.
Is she still a Zimmerman or did she get
Yeah,
married?
no,
Yeah,
she's
she's
still-
an old maid.
That's an old-fashioned term.
Yeah, and she's
And
alive.
Leonie, her sister,
Yeah.
she married a Parham, wasn't it?
Oh.
And she's still living too.
Etta May's sister.
Annie Mae's sister,
What's her name?
Leona.
Leona Pyram.
uh-huh.
Pyram.
Yeah.
I don't,
And she lives in Hogansville too?
yeah, I think Annie Mae and her kind of lived together.
Oh, nice.
She, Leona lost her
Yeah.
husband, and so as they've gotten older, well, they live together most of the time, I think.
Well, she still has her home, though. She goes to it during the day and messes around, goes back up there at night.
How did you know them? Did you work together?
They lived at East Unum with
We were
us.
just kind of raised up with one another.
Tell you something funny about her daddy. He would, he was a hard working fella, but he did such odd things, you know. He would plow the fields down there barefoot, you know, with his collar and tie on. He was, and he read the Tom Watson paper. He was a big believer in the Tom Watson paper, you know. That was an old paper. So he would go up to the depot. We had a little depot up there to catch the train. The train would stop and pick you up and take you to town, you know, and take you to Raymond for a dime. And so then it'd turn around at Raymond and come back. And so he would go up there with his Tom Watson paper, and he'd be so interested in that paper till the train would go by and leave him. He wouldn't even know when the train went by.
Oh, the Tom Watson paper is very important.
I don't
Yes.
know about it.
Okay.
Can you tell me what that was?
It's just a paper like the Atlanta Journal, but it was called the Tom Watson paper.
It was a populist paper. Van Woodward, the very dean of American historians, a Georgian, wrote a book called Tom Watson, Agrarian Rebel. Very important book. So this is a link with
And he would
the
come,
past.
Mr. Zimmerman would
Yeah.
come to our house and sit till bedtime sometimes, and he'd bring his paper, and he'd want to read it out loud, you know, to all of us, you know. And Mom and Daddy'd get so tired, they'd want to go to bed, so they'd get up and go out and go to bed. He wouldn't even know when they went to bed, because he's sitting there reading that Tom Watson paper out loud, you know. And so after a while, he discovered that everybody'd gone to bed, and he'd get up and go home. He just lived on the next street over.
Well, just live the next house across
Yeah.
from ours, you know.
And
That's
So
fascinating.
we were just like one big family, you know. We grew up together, Etta Mae and Leon and all of us, you know. We just was teenagers, and we grew up together.
Van Woodward's going to be so impressed by this because it's reaching right back to the man he was writing about. That's fascinating.
he would plow the field just across the street where Maudine lives now. And plow it barefoot, you
Yeah.
know.
Now, what did he do?
I don't think he ever worked at the mill much,
Not-
did he?
I don't think so either.
He lost his wife early in life, and he kind of raised the children, you know. And I don't believe he worked much at the mill. If he did, I didn't remember it.
But Etta Mae did. Etta Mae worked in the
Etta
mill.
Mae and Loveller and Leona and Carrie. There's one named Carrie.
Yeah.
Well, she lives in Atlanta, don't she?
I don't know.
I think she's dead now. Carrie is.
Oh, this is a very important link with us. Now, let's see if we can put the. You want to put this thing on?
Sure.
Go tell Roger to
Okay.
come.
All right.
But she's her mind is kind of addled a little bit. I don't think she would know.
You might take her address
Yeah,
just
I
in
will.
case, because she may have some pictures. You know, this is going back a very long time.
56 years ago. Is Blanche Rainwater a relative of yours?
She's not here. She's down close to Sanaa.
She's a cousin of ours.
She's the first cousin of ours, but her mind is kind of going, you know. Got Alzheimer's, I think, now.
That's it.
Yeah, and then you
Yeah,
can see
I
it
s-
better. That's, is that Blanche?
Let's go back on that just a minute.
Yeah, because some of those faces were really clear.
Yeah.
Maybe they could recognize someone.
Number one up here, the Hortons always lived in that section right up
Are
the
any of the
street.
Hortons left?
Seems to me that there is, out on Cole Street. She was there. I don't
Was
know.
that
if she-
Olivia?
I
Is
don't
it
really,
Viola?
I don't remember her first name.
But Miss Horton does. She did live on Cole Street,
And she's moved, I don't know it.
Okay.
So is her name still the same? Could you look it up in the phone book?
Horton is, who she is now, I don't know who she was before she married.
You think you could find it in the phone book on Cole
She's
Street?
real old.
He won't like his feet hurt. And here they come again.
There they come back.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember starting when they had to do this, you know, but
It looks
they
like
came
the
in on
middle-aged
the
woman in
truck,
middle.
you know.
That's,
Now
Etta Mae,
And
right there in the
maybe
middle.
else one.
I
Yeah.
think
That,
right there's
that
the
one,
lady
it looks like Etta Mae.
Yeah.
And Leona looks like the one next to her, that.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know the others.
That one on the right you thought was the Rainwater.
Blanche.
Blanche. The one that's married to Willingham now,
to
right?
Willingham.
Her name's
Come
Willingham
on
now.
in, Sid.
Blanche Willingham.
Come on in.
This way.
Much.
So they moved over to Hogansville.
Yes.
And you say Hogansville is just about 8 or 9 miles from here, isn't it?
I didn't understand.
Hogansville is only about 8 or 9 miles from here.
Oh, it's 18
20,
miles from
18.
here.
18,
18
20
miles.
Grantville is about 10 miles, and then Hogansville's about
I
8
think
miles.
is it 18 from
Yeah.
here to Hogansville? 18 miles, I think.
So 12 miles from here to Grantville, and it's 6 miles to Hogansville.
It's 18 miles.
Okay. Hello, hello.
She said she thought J.C. Lewis's picture was on there, and his brother lives next door, so he's coming up there.
great.
He might, did you call him to come? Yeah, he's coming.
J.C. Lewis.
J.C. Lewis, Verma said that J.C. Lewis was on that picture. And, so Henry, his brother lives next door, and I told him to come up, see if he could
That's right.
and locked them up.
The truck, those strikers in the back of the truck, and they all had sticks, you know, and they were yelling and hollering, you know, to everybody. I guess what they would be doing to them if they went to work.
Were they using the picker sticks?
I don't know what kind of stick it was. I never did. They just had some sticks, the ones that was picketing, you know.
I've heard them described as picker sticks.
Well, I didn't know, 'cause I was quite young then, and I didn't know.
Well, and it wasn't you weren't in that part of the mill, I
That's
guess.
right.
Yeah.
Now, you were saying before, you continue to go to work during the strike, right?
Yes, I went over. Yes, we did. We went to the gate, you know, and Mr. R.A. Fields was the president of the company, both mills, both plants, and he told us, the ones that wanted to work, to come in, and we went in.
How did you get through the gate?
They opened the gate and then we just walked in.
Was the National Guard there at the time?
Not at where we were. Did you see any National Guards there at East Union Plant?
See, I wasn't there then. I was.
Oh, you wasn't, but I didn't see any. I didn't see any of those. But all I could remember was staying up all night watching, you know, the commotion that was going on, you know, at the plant over there at the gate.
To the beginning
Okay. Where were you watching from?
From our home, we lived not very far from the plant, close to the pond. The pond was the mill pond, you know, that they got the water from to make the power. And then we lived in the second house up the street. We could watch from our back porch, see everything that was going on. I don't mean we could see it because it was dark, but they had lights, you know, the flashlights and everything, and you could hear them talking. And we were all frightened, us young people.
Do you recall what they were saying?
No, I couldn't tell what they were saying. Just talking and yelling, and you know. So I don't know what they were saying. But I do know the next day we went to work. We went over to the gate, and they told us if we wanted work to come in. We went in.
And were there some of your fellow workers were out on the picket line?
Well, I didn't remember seeing a picket line. They were all gathered around the gate, you know, and so I do remember the people on the truck. That's mainly what I remember, was people on the truck. But I do remember him telling us that, and we went in to work. And nothing never happened to us, you know. If you want to turn the TV back toward him, you can.
Well, that's all right.
Adopting the Textile Strikers flying squadron methods, National Guardsmen at Newnan, Georgia round up a group of pickets and place them under arrest. Women as well as men are taken in the militia's net. The strikers submit peacefully and are hustled off before bristling bayonets. State highway trucks are used to transport the prisoners, numbering about 200, many of them women and girls.
I hadn't yet. Have you?
Well, Verma Garner said JC's picture, he was in there.
Well, it wasn't in there.
Okay, we'll go ahead and show some of the other stuff then. I've got to cut down the sound now because there's no real sound. Do you remember this happening?
I remember it happening, but I don't recognize many of them people there.
Where were you then?
I don't know. I was working back in, but I don't remember many of them people back in I see there. I don't recognize the name. My brother, he wasn't in there. I think he down there, but he left before they come and got him down there.
I see. He was among the pickets, was he?
Well, I think so. He's one of them somewhere or another, and he got out before they come and got him anyhow.
Where was he working?
He was working for the Georgia Power, but he wasn't working for the power company then. I think he's working for the McIntosh mill then.
And that was on strike, was it, Macintosh?
No, what he done that he's on a strike, and I think they all come out somewhere or another on a strike somewhere, and he's in that business. He's over there at the mill, and he wasn't in that bunch that they carried up out of the prison up there. He got out of that somewhere. I don't know how.
Did you know any of the fellows who did have to go up there?
That.
Did you know any of the fellows who did have to go
Well,
up there?
back then I did, but I don't recognize them now. I don't recognize the people there. It's been a good many years there.
You know this fella?
No, I don't.
Giving him special treatment.
Putting him in jail, ain't it? Back then had them open cars there too, didn't it?
Yeah. It's the first car I ever drove, I think.
That's right. That's a good many years ago.
Yeah. It looked the World War I type helmets.
Yeah.
Is that the main street in the mill village by the
Well,
number 1 plant?
that's right up here. That's right up here at the railroad up here. Right up this street here.
See, there's some gentleman here talking to people. See, he'd been up on that platform.
Yeah.
I wonder who he was.
They loading them up there now.
From Montgomery. Working over at Montgomery.
Well, they carried them up at Fort McPherson up there.
That's it, yeah.
And the National Guards, what did they believe in? Did they believe in, they didn't want them to strike, or they did want them to?
No, see, they just down there to protect the people that wanted to work here. That's what they down there for.
They got called out by Governor Thomas.
Yeah, that's right. They come down there and take all them people up there, and where the people want to work, they can work. Yeah.
You recognize any of those, Henry?
No, I don't, Mary. I don't recognize none of them, man.
How old were you then?
I don't know. I'm 81 years old. When was that?
This was 1934.
34?
Yeah.
When I was working down at Cold Shop then, I was working down at Cold Shop.
Now these are the ladies they've been able to recognize.
I know that's one of the Zimmerman girls, and I believe it's Leona.
That's Etta May and Leon, right there.
And that's Etta May there.
Right there in this building.
Did you know the Zimmerman girls?
He doesn't know the girls like that.
No, I don't know them.
How long did they have to stay up there?
They were arrested on what's the
17th.
17th,
And they stayed there, I think, until the 22nd.
Not very long.
About 5-6 days.
Have y'all been down to the Zimmerman girl's house?
No, we'd like to go there today.
They could
That's her
tell
right
you if
there.
that's their picture or not.
Do you think the Zimmerman girls have a TV set up similar to this?
I don't know. It's kind of.
I kinda doubt it.
If not, we could. They said that we were with the public library yesterday.
Right,
They said we could come over there,
right.
so that's an alternative.
That's been a good many years ago.
What did you do in the mill?
What?
What did you do in the mill?
I never did work in the mill there. I worked at coal shop down
I
there.
see.
R.D. Cole had a plant down here on East Broad Street. It's still there, but Brown has it now, Brown Steel.
But I remember all them being down there, and they come down there and load them up and carry them up Fort Mag. I remember all that.
Did you watch it?
Had that?
Did you watch it?
No, I was working. I didn't. I wasn't watching it there.
Now, you said your brother was part of the activity.
He was in that business up there, but he got out before they come and got him there some way. I don't know how he's in there anyhow.
So he was a member of the union.
Yeah, he's a member of the union there.
Where does your brother live now?
Had that?
Where's your brother now?
He's dead there. He's been dead about, I reckon, about 12, 14 years. Well, I can't recognize any of them people there.
That woman right there, you don't recognize her?
No, I don't. You?
I don't either.
We'll get a close-up of them just a bit. Yeah.
Henry, I thought might recognize some of the people more than I would because I was not with
Yeah.
the old mill bunch like I was the East Union bunch. I don't know those.
I don't either. I don't know.
So did some of your brother's friends get picked up and brought over here?
Some of them,
Your brother's friends, from
Yeah,
other
some-
union members.
yeah, some of them, they got them and carried them on up yonder. Some of them, he got out somewhere or another. He got out before the guards come down and got him. I reckon he got scared and run.
Some that fights and runs away and comes again another day.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is clear.
Yeah.
I just don't recognize those faces.
Yeah.
I don't either. I don't recognize them.
They make changes, you know.
Yeah.
They're feeding them, I believe.
Yeah. They certainly are.
Now, they're the one that joined the union, wasn't it? They were trying to organize the union.
Yeah, trying to organize the union, yeah. Well, now some of the people who worked down at the mill, I think, it was in that up there, and some of them didn't want to strike, and some of them did.
In the Noonan Mills.
Yeah, in the union mill.
Yeah, we were talking with a lady yesterday who was talking about how people felt about that,
Yeah.
one against the other.
Was your brother active in the union for a while?
Well, yeah, he was in the union. See, he's in the union there, and he worked with the power company, and they went on a strike, and he never did get back. See, he worked with Georgia Power, and he never did go back to work. They never did let him go back and work there. He lost a good job just on account of the union.
So, was your brother working for the mill at the time of this?
I don't know. He wasn't working at that mill. I think he was working down at McIntosh, I believe. I believe that's the way it was. But anything concerning the union, he wanted to be in it some way.
Why do you think that he was different from the other people here?
Well, I don't know. He just got in with the power company, and a bunch of them went on a strike, and a bunch of them lost their job just on account of it.
I guess they thought they'd make more money, you know. They was after more money.
Well, just a few of them went on a strike there, and just lost their job. That's all it was.
Zimmerman mill never did go into union. Never did,
No,
never did go into
no, they didn't. They never did go in it.
Now this is up there at the mill, is it?
Now, I don't know whether that's at the mill or not.
I think that's all we've got of this then. The rest of it is,
The movie.
What?
Oh,
No.
is this, did you come to the end of it?
yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
that's it.
Okay, then I'll stop it and go back. I'm just gonna just rewind, go back this way so I'll be able to have it all queued up. So do we have the
night. I said I was the only one that come up with dog ears. See, all the rest of them had to have it.
Clear indication, isn't it? Yes.
No, my nephew was here from California in January.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I got to tell him about when we moved to the cotton mill and what we did. And he said, well, I got a dictaphone at home, but I wish I had it. He said, hey, why didn't you write some of that stuff down? I said, well, what was needing writing it down if you remember it?
Well, I tell you what we'll do. What we'll do is whatever we record with you, we'll send you a typed transcript of it so you can give it to your family.
I know I talk too much.
What do you mean you talk too much?
I've always been accused of talking too much.
But would you like that? Because
Yeah.
we could easily do that.
Absolutely.
Sure. Just, we're going to be having this transcript, and we could easily pass it along to you.
Well, my brother, we moved from Douglasville to Tallapoosa. And my brother went to work down there when he was 12 years old. But they didn't put the money in his. We got little tickets.
This is something that's interesting. Yeah.
And they put the money that they paid him in one of the sisters' tickets because they wasn't allowed to work him at 12. But now Lobala went to work at 12 in Douglasville, and they let him work at 12 years old. And she said she was so low till she had to get up on the rail to creel the robe in. She worked in the spinning room.
Look at this. This is such and you've done such a good job of it, too.
Well, some of them asked me, why did I put in so many repeat the different, but they were at different ages.
Another thing that surprises me is that the photographers had a lot of imagination, too. Who took these pictures?
Well, I just got them from what we didn't have. Now that brother there had, had 8 children. There's just 5 of them now. That's the school picture. And one of them boys asked their mother, said, well, Mother, how come Aunt May's got more of our school pictures than you have? Well, when they had them made, they always give me one. Now, this girl, this girl here, the oldest one of Reuben's family, and she was trained in proper W law, and she married a man in the Army, and he lived in California. So when he got out of the Army, she went to California, and she made Dean of Nurses. But she didn't like that. She liked nursing. You know, the Dean of Nurses teaches you.
I know. When I started teaching, I teach at New York University now. When I started teaching there, I had to run the department, and I found that too much administration stuff.
Well,
I wanted to get
Leonie's got 2 boys that works for Milligan, and every time they get a promotion, they got to make more trips. I can't understand that. Leonie's got a boy that's president of Columbus. See, they're not textile no more, they're rug mills.
Yeah.
But Callaway did a lot for LaGrange, Georgia. Everything down there is...
It's Callaway. That's right. We've been down there.
Well, they got a nice hospital, nice heart clinic, cancer clinic, but now they've changed that cancer clinic to West Georgia.
You mentioned your sister being ill.
Well, it took 3 surgeries, we call them operations, for her to have an ileostomy. See, they took out all the colon. And the doctor that did the surgery didn't want to take away the rectum.
Mm-hmm.
And he stretched that gut all the way down, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then part of it had to be cut off.
Oh, dear, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's told her she had, I can't think the first name, but it's colitis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's told her several times that there wasn't nothing else they could take out.
Mm-hmm.
But she had pneumonia this winter.
Mm-hmm.
She's sick a lot.
Well.
Yeah, I saved that for the dress,
Yeah.
you know.
Sure.
See, a lot of them, I cut them off and
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
Here you are.
bus pictures.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was me in the branch. Me and
And who?
Eva Stitcher.
You see they're in the branch.
We're waiting. I had a few of them old East Newman pictures.
Yeah.
This is you and Lissy Dukes.
In 24, yeah.
Well, I have one in there made when we left East Newman. See, them's East Newman pictures too.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when you're living in Noonan.
Yeah, down at East Newman. But now, you're talking about wanting to know about textile. We had a friend who worked at East Newman as long as we did. But he had some of the old papers back when East Newnan Mill started up. I mean, when Newnan Mill started up. That was a rich town. And at one time it's called City of Homes. I don't know what it is now, not.
Mm-hmm.
But they had them big old upstairs houses with a big old column.
Oh, yes, big
And it was
columns.
called Greenville Street.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the men that lives there was our mayor, now that's,
Your family tree.
yeah, and she drove that from one I got in here.
Oh, nice.
See, this is the roots.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's four to each side. But anyway, one of them has Zimmerman. And his daddy's name and his age, and his mother's name and his age. And on the other side, reverse to the Barkers. And then, she don't have them leaves on here, I don't think. But I put leaves on the big one. But Mama's and Papa's picture is supposed to be in the trunk of the tree. I had I carried it to the studio, and he made it small and round.
So they could fit in there.
And then this is supposed to be left from right, each name and their age. Well, it starts down here. When it gets on up there, our baby sister just had 2 children.
Ah, nice. The Zimmerman, that's a German name.
Yeah, and there's a story behind that.
Yeah.
But I don't know who it was, and I don't know no way of finding out. But I thought till the last year, Grandpa lived me. Did I say 85? He's 94.
No.
But Grandpa told me, see, they moved to Texas when there was 3 other children born after they moved to Texas. But my father had typhoid fever. And their plans was for Papa to move out there. Well, there's Papa and Uncle Tommy that didn't go. And Grandpa, after Grandma died, Grandpa lived with one of his sons. And how come he found out he was born in Cartersville? He said they always put circulars in the mailboxes. And he went home one day and there's a circle in their mailbox that Sam Jones was going to preach, have a tent meeting. And he said he told them at the table, well, I got a patch of corn that I've got to get through by Friday because I'm going to Dallas, Texas Saturday. And they want to know why. He said, well, I'm going to show you this paper. And I wonder if that was little Sam Jones that I went to school with. He said when he got there, there was enormous, big, enormous tent. But he was late, and he said he did finally get a seat about the middle. And he said he called for people that wanted to have prayer, and they was at the mourner's bench. He said that the crowd went up, but he just stood there till they all got through up the mourner's bench. So he went down the aisle, and the preacher had started out. He said now he was really a hellfire down there. Preacher. And he said he walked down and he said, well, I wonder if this is the same Sam Jones that I went to school with in Cartersville. He said, well, I don't know. He said, I live in Cartersville. He said, well, do you remember Bob Zimmerman? But now, Grandpa's name was Robert. They just called him Bob. He said, Sam Jones said, you don't mean it. So they had a meeting after the service was over. And that's when I found out he was born in Cartersville. But now I have a niece living in Cartersville. She just moved there 3 months ago. She's been living in North Carolina. And she said they were going to some of the old cemeteries and see if they could find any Zimmermans. But
you mentioned that you had a brother in North Carolina.
Leander.
Could we get his name and address?
Yeah. I'll have to call Leon. I know it's Deal Street, and I think as long as he's been there, he could get it.
What's his first name?
Leander.
Leander.
Leander. I know y'all wonder why my voice is like this, but the doctor said it's from Parkinson.
Yeah.
So he said it in my joints.
Yeah. I've made a lot of films for doctors, so I recognize this. And
well, he said it's from Parkinson. He said I just went untreated so long. He didn't know whether he could do too much with mine.
There's not much, Parkinson's is a very difficult disease.
Well, I didn't like it. I went to this doctor once before. He's kind of he's the neurosurgeon. And I didn't, but when I got home, me and my sister lived here together. All the rest of them married. And Lovala said, well, you don't have Parkinson's. So I just didn't take the medicine. I give it to her because
Did she have Parkinson's? Yeah.
And when I first went to him this time, I told him I had arthritis of the joints. And he come in popping my fingers. And then he popped my toes. And I told him, I'll have 2 crippled legs. I had cancer on this side and it made an ulcer. And then they say they don't know what's the matter with that. I hope you're not getting what I'm saying.
Well, we were recording before when you were talking about the family.
But you're not,
Now, could you tell us?
because we're going to
Okay.
talk about Texas.
Yes, tell us
Absolutely.
about the 30. Tell us about where were you in 33, 1933?
I was in Hogansville.
And you were working in the mills then.
We moved here, but now our family moved to Douglasville, Alabama in 1910. And they moved from there to Tallapoosa. And then they moved from Tallapoosa to East Union. Now you surely don't want all this.
No, no. So you got to East Noonan, and then what happened?
Well, Papa moved back to Tallapoosa the first time, that in 1913. He moved back to Tallapoosa. And then when we left Tallapoosa the last time, he moved to East Union again. And from East Union to Barnesville, and from Barnesville to Griffin, and from Griffin back to Tallapoosa. And then from Tallapoosa, we farmed that year. Then from Tallapoosa, he moved back to East Union. We stayed there 9 years.
Now, did he ever work in the mills?
No, he moved to, not from Tallapoosa. No, except he run the, what you call the dope wagon.
So he ran the dope wagon in the mill.
But Papa wasn't, he was a farmer, really. When we were at East Union, he rented that whole pasture from the company 1 year. It got bitter weeds in it. And then after that, he rented from the mill company a hill that went on way up. But Papa always had a field somewhere. He'd have a garden at home that we'd work the garden, but he always had.
These ladies were telling me about his plowing with his coat and tie on.
You had never seen a celluloid collar either, have you?
Oh yes, my father used to. No, he used to wear starch collars.
Well, this was celluloid.
Yeah.
It's stiff,
Yes, that's right.
but he wore it.
Do you know that my father wore these starch collars?
Well, now we always starched his collars after he quit wearing
and ties.
celluloid.
So it sounds like very much the same kind of man in a way.
But I've heard that when we was living in East Union, we had a little old train we called a Dugan, because it didn't go no farther than Bremen and back. And Papa went up there. When he'd go to Buckhannon, he had an aunt at Buckhannon, and he had changed trains in Bremen. So he'd take that little old train to Bremen and wait for a train going on non-Anniston, I just have called. And he got John Watson papers, and when he got one of them things, he read it all the way through. And I don't care how many people was around, nothing about it. He just kept reading. And there's some little Ingram boys up there. They told us, Papa sat down by the side of that depot, and then he got up and folded his paper and started putting it in his pocket. He said, "Well, I guess it's about time for that train." The little Ingram boy said, "Mr. Zimmerman, that train blowed before it got here, it stopped, and the passengers got off, and it's gone."
Oh, that's a wonderful story. Now, how did he feel about your getting caught up in this trouble?
Well, he didn't have to join that union. He was past the age.
Yeah.
What happened, Roosevelt ordered that reunion. Ordered them to organize. And the men that come down here from Atlanta, didn't know what they were doing. They went to the stores. They got everybody's name on there they could get. Naturally, Papa joined too. But the thing about it, they wasn't the right men to send because one of them left with all the money.
Do you remember
And
any?
we were going and stopping the mills that wasn't organized, and that's what we was doing in Union, Georgia. We went to the old mill.
Do you remember any of the names of the men who came from Atlanta?
No, I started to say, I guess I've got the names, but I've got rid of a lot of papers just lately.
What did you
Put
do
them
with
in
them?
the garbage.
Oh.
I had Roosevelt's all about when he died and, you know, when they took him to Washington. But they were brown as they could be.
Sure, yeah.
And
Well, how long were you in Fort McPherson?
a week.
Could you tell us?
But it wasn't just I mean, they had men and women.
Oh, yes.
And them men was behind the barbed wire fence.
Yeah.
But there's a captain from the Army come out there. I left here about 9. We got to Newman. But now, Gene Talmadge was our governor. And I have a neighbor out here, Miss Trussell. She told Papa if he voted for Gene Talmadge, he was going to send out the troops. But he promised in that last speech that he would not send out the troops. But that's what happened. And Papa didn't have to be on that truck either. But from being exposed and all, he took bronchitis. They just had them in a barbed wire fence. And he took bronchitis and never did get over it. Before Papa died, I'd tell people I'd lots rather have TB. But now that sister I was telling you about had TB, and they said she wouldn't have to be treated but 6 months, but she took 18 months treatment, but she's well off it. But there's a truck come from LaGrange. That truck was not from here. And there's a little Sweatman. I mean, I knew him at East Union, and his name was Sweatman, Travis Sweatman. And he just told us, get on the truck, and we got on the truck. They told us where they were going. They were going to Union to stop to make them walk out and organize. But now I can see our mistake now. You can't make somebody do something they don't want to do. But we thought we could make them. We didn't just go to Union. We went to Cartersville. No, Cedartown. We went to Cedartown, and they threatened. They got up on the mill and threatened to turn them big old holes on us.
The people in the mills.
Yeah. Some of that.
Where did you get the courage to do that?
Well, he just wanted us all organized, and these men come down here from Atlanta. And I do wish I had the names of 2 of them. But now...
Could I name a couple of people to see if there was... One is George Googe. Another is Joe Jacobs.
Well, they just took the money.
Now,
But there's one of them was a little low fella and the other one was tall. But they got Homer Welch.
Yeah, H.L. Welch.
That's right.
Yeah, he got Homer Welch. Now, they was going to arrest him in Union. We had to go to court over that, but Homer Welch did not have no pistol. And we had to go to Union to court over that because he did not have no. But now they didn't get Homer Welch behind the barbed wire.
You knew him then?
Well, he lived down on Green Avenue. We knew him and his wife. They had one daughter. But that man, they put people out in LaGrange. And I told, well, his wife was staying here. His wife and little girl stayed here with us when he was having so much trouble in LaGrange. And they put some people out on the street with a death in the family. They let them go to the funeral, but when they got back, they put the frontier out. And I told Papa, see, us going up there broke this, well, them men leaving broke this one up, but Homer Wells stayed with it. And he was with it when they was down there in LaGrange. Now, they did run him out of LaGrange with a gun, with some kind of firearm. But I told Papa, we're still paying dues. And we bought a lot over there. I never did know what happened to it, but there's a house on it. And that's where we're going to build a hall for the... See, we met at City Hall, and there's going to be a union hall over there. Oh, they flared off big things. But now, the overseer that come talk to me about the union when they's going to vote years later down here at the mill, W. Martin left North Carolina because they's on a strike. And he come down there to talk to me. I said, now, W., you're not talking to me, because I know that you're against the union, and I know you left North Carolina on account of them organized. So you're just not going to talk to me. He's our overseer. He said, well, I just want to know about what happened to you in Hogansville. I said, I'm not going to tell you, because I know you're against it, and there's no need of me and you talking.
Could you tell us about what it was like in Fort McPherson?
Well, they had a guard stood out in front. See, when we got there wasn't nothing, because we was took to a barn. Well, we called it a barn, but it was a garage. And they had put up them posts and barbed wire fences after the men got there too. But I hadn't had anything to eat since breakfast, and that was about 5 or 6 o'clock. And one of them little boys, them boys didn't want to come out. They're just little boys, some of them. And they stopped between here and Atlanta, and they come out with a big old waiter of hamburgers, hot dogs. And I thought, well, they gonna feed us. But that was just for them boys that's on the truck with us. He offered to share his. I said, no. But Captain, his wife taught school up here after that. But I can't think of his name. Anyway, he's from the Army.
And he lives
Army. No, we was at Fort McPherson. And he come out and talked to us. He said he wanted us to behave ourselves. There's some from Hogansville and some from Sargent's, Georgia, and some from LaGrange. But I can't think now how many there were of us. There's about 29, I think. There's enough of us that filled a truckload. But that little guard was going to give me half of his hamburger. I said, no, that's for you. He said, well, we was called out at 6 o'clock this morning. He hadn't had anything to eat since 6 o'clock. So Captain Hall, I believe, I'm pretty sure his name was Hall. He came out and talked to us, and he said now they're going to fix a place for us to sleep. They're going to move them trucks out of that garage, and they're going to bring some cots for us to sleep on. And they brought army cots. And they changed the guard every 4 hours. But some of them girls, some of them live here now. There's two that got real smart talking to the guards. But now most of them didn't have nothing to say to the guards. But that man came down there and talked to us, and he said, now, I'm going to town to get I'm going to some kind of a place and get y'all something to eat. So he got us hamburgers and hot dogs. But they served us breakfast just like they do the Army. You know, have you a little tin thing, and they cooked them in garbage cans, but they were brand new garbage cans. They fixed the place out there, and they give us regular meals.
Where did you sleep, in tents?
Oh, we slept in that garage.
In the garage, I see.
Oh, the boys, the men slept on the ground, I think.
Now, we were talking with a man who came out to visit you people at Fort McPherson, and he was talking about there being no bathrooms.
And we just followed down. Well, they did put up a little old house way down from where we were. But now, if I understood it right, that's just where they kept trucks and things like that. Because we didn't see no soldiers. But that was a pretty good sized house. But they had, I believe they had 4 trucks in it. But they put up a rail, or we called it a rail, right out in front. We wasn't allowed, one of them guards, we wasn't allowed to get out of, I'd say a space, maybe from that book to the wall.
Wow.
But it was ropes. There wasn't no rail. They just stuck sticks down in the ground and put. But I believe that captain's name was Hall.
And you were there for about a week.
Yeah, and we had to sleep in our clothes too. And it was cold. It wasn't cold weather, I don't think.
Did you have any blankets, bedclothes?
Yeah, but them little blankets would scratch you to death.
I had them in the Army, I know.
They're just small blankets, fit them cots.
That's it, yeah.
I slept in a little plastic coat and scratched my elbow all over. I couldn't hardly sleep on them cot, on that cot, but I got used to it in a week.
Well, what we'd like to do is to be able to show you these pictures we have from Fort McPherson.
Well, I'd be glad.
You have
you have them.
They're on videotape. You don't have a VCR here, do you?
No, I don't.
You have a television set here?
I have a television.
Well, what we can do, we're going to be coming
But
back.
now I've got a nephew over there. He has VCR and he makes pictures.
Or maybe could we go over there?
I could call him and ask
Why
him.
don't you do that then? Just a moment, I'll take this off. Okay. 87.
Well, I retired in '86.
Uh-huh. You retired in '86.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you then?
63. And then I never got Social Security.
Mm.
I took an old insurance paper down there. I had to go 3 times to prove that I was 63. I said, well, goodness knows if I know anything, I know what year I was born.
You were born,
That insurance paper was wrong.
when were you born?
1906.
Ah.
How come it stopped? I told them when they first got my record there, I was born 1909. Leon was born 1909. That's my sister that lives out there.
That's interesting. Oh no, the Historical Society would be very pleased to have these. Well, you've got 10 years on me.
Well, I know there's several.
Did Leona work at the mill too?
She did till she married. And Leon didn't marry till she was 30, 35, I think. She's either 34 or 35. But she's got 4 wonderful children. I tell them I enjoyed all the grandchildren. We called them grandchildren until got to be great-grand. And then I got to call them nieces, nephews, because some of them younger ones couldn't understand why I was calling them grandchildren. We started that on account of Papa.
Well, I have an older sister who never married, and she is the favorite of all the grandchildren until because they can go out. She lives in San Francisco, and they go out there, and she makes them. They're very special.
Well, we had a pastor up here, St. James Church. He told me that he said, Etta May, I had an Aunt May too. They just called me Aunt May. Well, Frank wanted them things. I said, well, I wish I'd saved some of them papers I had, because I had some of Papa's
Well,
papers.
now, we went up to the library in Noonan, and they've got the local paper, the Huntsville, the
Herald.
Herald. They've got it on microfilm, so that we made copies of the local papers there. So we have.
Well,
some
I
of
got
that.
their Centennial book in here, and I didn't know Cayeta covered that many places. But Cayeta is one of the largest
Largest
in
counties.
Georgia, I guess.
Yeah, well, of course, counties. Georgia's got so many counties. 159, I think. Used to have anyway.
Well, this is a big book,
When I lived here before.
and it comes down here close to Grantville. I mean, in Grantville. See, Grantville's just 6 miles from here.
Close.
Are there still people that live around here and that you worked with back then?
Yeah, what's not dead. Letty Collier's living, and Irma Fuller's living. Oh, goodness knows. Rachel Smith, I don't know what I'm thinking. Rachel Smith lived right across the road. And the woman that lived next to her died. She died when she was 94 years old. She worked down there till she retired. There's a lot of retirees.
Did you know a woman named Mrs. Maud Granger?
Sure, but she's dead. Maud Granger was me when I was on that truck. So was her sister, and so was a Callaway girl. And
Is that the girl that's alive now, Calloway? You said she lives around here? Letty?
I don't know. She was a Callaway, but she's just a teenager. And she was a Galloway, not a Callaway.
Galloway.
And I did kind of look after her because she wasn't nothing but just a little old teenager. But she was Delma Galloway's daughter. And I think I guess she's just left here. They tried to take away our schools this year. And they tried it once before. But when you take all the young folks out of a town, it's dead. But they're not going to. Leona suggested to her son that they vote before. I mean, they go up there and vote for them before we voted. But a lot of them, we want to beat, they wasn't but about 120. We wasn't about that far ahead.
But you did save the school. That's good.
Yeah, and if they'd have moved it to, well, I'm trying to think of the county. If they'd moved it down there, they'd have had to bus them.
I know this is what they're doing in so many places. They're closing up the local school and they're trying to consolidate them. Yeah, it's a bad thing. Because you lose the local touch.
Well, when the young folks go out, that's it. You can, our church don't have no young folks right now, but it has a lot of bearing on a church, or a home, or a community.
What church, you've mentioned your church.
I belong to St. James Methodist, and it's no ways like it used to be. I've got, well, the two books are out at Leonis now, but the first person that they went in with was, they merged with the North. We had to take some of their laws, they had to take some of ours. But I think we took more of theirs. And then they merged with the United Brethren. I'd never heard of a United Brethren. But I did get some literature and read up on it. And they had been Methodists. They split from the Methodists to United Brethren because the Methodist Church wasn't sending enough missionaries overseas. And then we emerged with United Brethren. And it's just a lot different to what it used to be.
I've made 3 films for the Methodist Church at different times.
Well, I was talking about Sam Jones. It hadn't been over 15 or 20 years ago since they restored that Sam Jones house.
Really?
You know, it's just about rotted down. I threw that paper away too.
Sam Jones, you mean?
He's in Cartersville.
Oh, yeah.
And his wife told him, when he first, his grandpa said he's hell for damnation. His wife told him if he went to preaching, she'd quit him. But she didn't. He was a preacher a long time. But I was telling you about my niece. Now, this is not recorded, surely.
No.